I'm gonna can we roll these windows down real quick though?
Oh yeah. Hey everybody.
Hi.
We went and saw Dave and Mike and Dave need wedding dates.
We went to Dave and Buster's.
Yeah,
And
who
we're
rode
gonna
on the
talk all about
go-karts.
it.
This movie was definitely a comedy. It made me laugh a couple times. It was super embarrassing at parts. And nothing happened that I did not expect to happen. From start to finish.
The end.
Like, there's very, very seldom is a movie...
I feel like you're at an angle. Hold on.
The world is at an angle. Man. What? Is it because my haircut is asymmetrical? Is it throwing you off?
Yeah,
Trample away?
Probably it.
Every once in a while I'll see a movie that's so nondescript that I'm like racking my brain walking back to the car trying to figure out what the fuck to talk about. Like, Brian, please, for the love of God, tell me you hated this movie.
I liked this movie enough. I wanted to like it more, but there were just things that were annoying with it. Like, to me, this movie, it felt a lot less like one cohesive movie, and like if you made a bunch of little like vignettes and then just stitched them all together, like all those Batman videos that they have up on like College Humor, you know, the like fake Batman ones. I know you've seen them.
I've seen Pete Holmes pretend to be Batman. Is it the same thing?
Let's say sure, because I'm not sure who that
Okay.
is. But it's like they took all of those and they're just like, let's put all these together and call it a movie. Or like like how they'll do that sometimes with like TV shows when they're just starting out. It's like, oh man, it's like our 2-hour premiere, but really it's just 2 episodes that they put together and said that it's a TV movie. And this just felt like, because it was kind of all over the place. Like the first like 10-15 minutes of the movie are solidly about the 2 main characters, Mike and Dave. But then it keeps moving around. Like there's times where we'll not see one of the main characters for a good 5-10 minute stretch. And I mean, it's one thing when you're watching something like fucking Lord of the Rings, and it's like, okay, well, you guys have fun, we're gonna go off this way, and then an hour and a half later, it's like, oh shit, they came back with the tree people. I know they're called Ents, but you know.
You're not fooling anyone. Even a nerd would know that they're called Ents.
But that makes sense for a grand sweeping tale like that. In this, there's just there's a point in time where Zac Efron just disappears from the movie for a while, and so there's a few different scenes where it's things going on and he's just completely gone until someone goes to find him.
Well, I think this movie was kind of, if not doing an homage, then definitely a predecessor or a successor of the 90s comedy movies, where it was just sort of a series of vignettes. And now let's check in to see what Jason Biggs is up to, and then we watch him fuck a pie for 20 minutes, and then, what's Tara Reid and her boyfriend up to? They're learning the tornado!
Did you just rewatch that or something?
No, I just know that movie very well.
But no, kind of like that, where it's here's this group of people, now let's divide them up so that they're never together again.
Do you remember those movies though, right?
And so it's I don't know, it's fucking weird because it's just it divides people up. It sets up okay, these 2 are brothers and best friends. The 2 girls are best friends, but then as soon as they get there, except when they have to be together, those 2 are just off doing their own separate things. Honestly,
I feel there was probably
Anna Kendrick spent most of the movie hanging out with the sister,
sister.
the one who's getting married. She spent most of the movie with her and not with her friend.
Well, they
Honestly, I think she spent more of the movie with the sister than she did with Zac Efron.
well, that's because the sister had to have hijinks happen to her face and body. But like that's what friends do in real life, you know. Like if I went, you know, if I went to Hawaii with Emily, we'd bomb off and do our own thing some of the time. Especially if, you know, we had gone there specifically for her to get her groove back. I'd be kind of being like, yeah, you know, go play Zac Efron. He's a hottie with a body. I'm gonna go finger bang Tammy or whatever her name was.
Melissa McCarthy's character from Tammy?
She kept herself entertained, is what I'm saying. That to me actually seemed more realistic than the two brothers like constantly attached at the hip. Because I mean, there's like best friends don't act the way that best friends tend to act in comedy movies.
I don't know. Maybe that's why it seemed weird, but yeah, it felt very like disconnected a lot of the time. Like most of those pieces, except for the ones that chronologically have to happen in a certain order, like you could have mixed this movie around, and it would have still been perfectly fine. Like there was no like I say, like aside from like the bits that have to happen, like okay, well she has to get hit in the face early, and then all these scenes are after it. But like after she gets hit in the face, any of those scenes are interchangeable with each other, like because all of them usually end up with things are going right, then something kind of bad starts happening, then it spirals out of control, and then everybody's mad at those two. Next scene, everything's fine, a little bit of a problem, spirals out of control, everybody's mad at these two. Next scene, and it's just that over and over and over again.
Well, they probably had like the overarching plot meeting, and then the wouldn't it be funny if meeting, and then just kind of stapled those bits into the middle.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like I say, like it didn't, like I say, like because like everything was just like it's like here's a thing, start to finish, reset, start to finish, reset, start to finish. Like I said, like it felt less like it was one continuous movie, and like it was just like a bunch of little like shorts. Like if they were making like if they did it as like a web series and then put it out on video.
Well, like you saying that just made me think, and that was something that I kept coming up in my brain during the movie. I know you're not a big fan of Anna Kendrick.
Her mouth is so fucking weird.
I find her delightful. I thought she did a very good job in this movie, but did you find as well that her character was super uneven from scene to scene? Because it seemed like in some scenes they're trying to set up like, you know, Aubrey Plaza is like this huge fuck up and she's just dragging her perfectly normal friend along for the ride. But the other scenes, Anna Kendrick is just completely off the rails. Either, you know, drinking her weight or pulling drugs out of her bra or, you know, just giving a speech about how she never thinks about anyone other than herself when her character has been thinking about people other than herself for the entire goddamn movie.
Yeah, no, it from scene to scene, it's like they gave her completely different motivation. Because, yeah, like they keep trying to cast her as like, oh man, she's like this crazy party girl. But honestly, it seems more like she's a normal person who's just struggling with the fact like her fiance like dumped her like at the altar. And so then, like, yeah, she's just bouncing back and forth between like maudlin and manic. And I mean, some scenes she's like, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna do a thing to help out because I really want to help like the bride have a good day, and yeah, like I like this guy and it's all cool. And then like the next scene, she's like, it's like, I know, let's take a lot of hard drugs and see what happens and let some fucking horses out. It's like, that's not the same person who was just in the previous scene.
We dipped into my mystery bag.
And yeah, it was kind of scattershot with her, but it's the sort of thing is like with her and Aubrey Plaza, like they both have like some actual depth to their characters. Like they're actually growing and developing as people. Whereas,
well, apparently Zac Efron and Adam Devine's characters were so freaking suggestible that just the presence of female companionship was enough to change their personalities entirely. From the montage we saw at the beginning of the movie of them like having a party and fucking shit up and like jumping over Roman candles, to like placidly trying to get everyone to stop being so crazy and going on this ATV Jurassic Park tour because they wanted to go and swim with the dolphins. So like I'm not disagreeing with you. I think that the reason Aubrey Plaza's character and Anna Kendrick's characters seemed to have more depth is because they were characters unto themselves rather than characters that were there to react and conform to the other characters in the scene.
Oh yeah, because I mean it's weird. Like I said, like their names are the title of the movie, and yet they feel more like secondary characters throughout the whole movie.
Yes, because they need wedding dates to exist as people. Give me a sip of your soda.
But yeah, it's just I don't know, like it kind of threw me because like from the beginning to the end, like they're exactly the same people. It's just they decide to like not hang out as much. Mm-hmm. That's like the big concession they make, like their growth as people is by the end of the movie they'll just not hang out as much. Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, that's not really like...
Well, the one decides he's not going to help his brother sell liquor anymore. He's going to draw for a living, and his mom's going to help him with rent. Which I did enjoy, like, how genuinely loserish the four main characters in this movie were. It wasn't just, like, you know, attractive, put-together people that just happened to drink too much. They were genuinely not adulting well. So, like, the two brothers sold alcohol poorly, because at the end, the one brother agreed to sell alcohol at wholesale prices to every freaking hotel in Hawaii for 3 years in order for, like, in exchange for a very small favor. And it's like, boy, he is not going to do well business-wise. And then the two girls that were, like, they were working at some weird shooter bar, and then showed up drunk one day and got fired. So they were effectively unemployed, living in a flop house. And they decided that what they needed was a vacation. I don't know. This was just like back in the day when you'd go to the movie rental place with like a bunch of different people and you couldn't decide what to get, so you just decided on like a nondescript comedy. This is what you would rent.
Yeah, and the thing that just bugs me is like, it's like there are some funny scenes in the movie, but there's a lot of stuff that's just, it's just routine. Mm-hmm. It's what you expect from a comedy like this. So it's like, and
then they embarrass themselves, and they have the moment of quiet revelation, and then they save the day, and those two bang, and those two bang, and then something silly happens at the very, very end.
Because, yeah, I mean, like, I've seen Zac Efron in a couple things. Like, I don't have anything against him. I mean, he's got some decent timing.
Did you see either of the Neighbors movies?
I saw the first one.
Was he good in that?
Yeah, he did all right.
The preview for that one looked funny. I didn't mean to derail you, I'm sorry.
No, I like Adam on Workaholics. Anna Kendrick I just don't like.
I like her. I think she's adorable.
But, like, Aubrey Plaza, I fucking love her. Like, I think she is incredibly funny. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's like I
think it was fairly apparent that out of the four of them, she was the only one who cannot sing. When they did the singing montage at the end, and Anna Kendrick was on dancing to the side duty.
But yeah, it's just, you've got a lot of people that should be able to pull a much better movie, and then they just didn't. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's like, I don't know if it was the script that held them back, or just, I don't know who directed this, if maybe it was just a directing thing that interfered, or what, because plus, like, the editing on this felt really slapdash.
Okay.
Well, no, like, there were a lot of...
You notice that stuff more than I do.
Well, yeah, no, it bugs the shit out of me. Like, there were a lot of, like, over-the-shoulder, like, conversational shots. Mm-hmm. And they were framing it so that you could still see, like, you know, camera over the shoulder, and you could still see them talking. But every time they did that, it was so wildly out of sync. They either weren't talking at all, or they were saying something and it wasn't lining up.
I did notice that one time, because we were over Anna Kendrick's shoulder, and she was saying something super emphatically, but her head was just staying perfectly still.
Yeah, there's a ton of problems like that throughout this. Or there was one scene, I know you have to have seen it, and even if you didn't think of it at the time, it probably just struck you as kind of off. Is after that scene with like the horses, whenever like the bride comes back there and she's talking to her soon-to-be husband. Bless you.
Thank you.
Okay, there's if you've seen the trailer, there's a part in that where it shows that she gets like cracked in the face with like an ATV, and she has like a tire print on her face, and like for the rest of the movie, like her face is jacked up on that side. Like they keep putting like big flowers in her hair, like doing her hair a certain ways to detract from that, but it's worked in. And then they're having this back and forth conversation, her and her fiance, and then suddenly when she's turning to like storm away or something, I forget what happened at the end of their conversation, the footage is flipped. So suddenly like this side of her face is fucked up, and she goes taking off like the wrong direction.
I didn't notice that at all. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, no, it was super fucking jarring, because like the way the scene was framed, like you could see that she was standing with like the bar on like her right hand side, and like that's the side of her face that's fucked up. She's looking this way talking to him, and all of a sudden the scene's flipped, so now the bar's on the wrong side, or the other side of her face, and she's staring off this way and takes off, and then it messes up the next shot, because then the dude gets pissed and he walks off, and I think it's supposed to have been that they were walking off in separate directions. Because that got flipped, they both take off the same way. So it's like I'm leaving too in the same direction. Like it made it look like he was kind of walking after her, but to yell at her maybe. It's like,
at that point I was mad at the movie because it was being super embarrassing, and the preview made it seem like that wouldn't be the case. This is right after the boys have one of those hijinksy moments where the second they put on hands-free microphones to practice backstage before their big speech, I'm like, oh boy, here we go. That's the Nielsen Naked Gun. And so, like, they're back there, they're having this argument, their mics get turned on, the whole place hears about how the one's date finger-banged Tammy, how the one brother walked in on the sister having an orgasm because Kumail Nanjiani was rubbing his butt on her butt, how, there was some third thing that was bad somehow. Stephen Root's like yelling, and the boyfriend hears about the orgasm, and he's like, well, I never. And of course, it's because the movie needs everything to fall apart, so they can come and save the day. But it's just it's I hate it when a movie ruins everything like that for no reason whatsoever.
well,
I could have had a revelation without everything being ruined.
I just kept finding myself, though, too, thinking that I was so much more interested in all of the, not even secondary characters, like, almost background characters that were in the movie.
Like the groom's best friend? Because he was kind of a riot.
Well, just kind of, like, all over the place. Like, basically, like, most of the people that were there for cameo sake.
Like Marc Maron?
Yeah, like, I'm curious, like, what's up with Marc Maron owning a bar in New York? Like, I'm curious. I want to see more of what's going on with that.
What does he keep doing with these cases of tequila that he's buying from these brothers purely out of pity? He bought 10 cases of tequila just because they had a shtick that was so bad it was embarrassing.
It's like, I know you guys. Like, I know you. Your name is Mike.
You
like,
play words with friends.
It's like you dated my cousin. It's like, I don't know what you're talking about. But like, I'm curious what's up with him. Like, I was curious. Like, it's like surly Jake Johnson owning a like running a different bar.
Having a goatee for some reason. Like, that was a fake goatee, right? They put a fake goatee on him for no reason other than the fact that because he's Jake Johnson, maybe they wanted to make him less recognizable.
But like I'm curious what's up with him. I'm curious what's up with fucking Montez driving a goddamn cab. It's like, I fucking love that guy.
I didn't recognize him.
He's on Workaholics.
Oh, okay.
He's one of the other coworkers that works there with them. But no, he's fucking great. Like, the episodes that have a lot of Montez in it are fucking fantastic because he's so weird.
I want to watch Workaholics. It's because you've shown me, like, with the grape fan or whatever it is. Then that makes me laugh. But it's one of those shows where you feel like it's just gonna be embarrassing.
Well, that's how a lot of it goes. Just because they are terrible fuck-ups who learn no life lessons. Like, the end of every episode is just kind of like, it's like, well, at least that's done with. The end. Like, no moral lessons are learned or anything. Mm-hmm. But, I know, I kept seeing, like, all these, like, other characters. I'm like, I'm curious what's up with them, but I couldn't give a shit about what was actually happening in the movie because it was.
We gotta stay with Mike and Dave because they're the names are in the title.
Yeah, but like I say, like we honestly, like, a lot of the time aren't even with them. Mm-hmm. Or if they are in a scene, it's because it's focusing on, like, Aubrey Plaza doing some crazy shit and Adam just kind of reacting to it. Mm-hmm. Or Zac Efron's in the scene, but just so that Anna Kendrick isn't talking to no one.
Well, so you can describe his super terrible graphic novel idea about different kinds of boozes and the racial stereotypes they represent.
Which, honestly, I feel like a lot of that was just he wanted to do accents.
Yeah, I got that impression too.
Like someone told him, like, you do really good impressions of other people.
We should do an entire scene based around your impressions of a British fella.
But, I mean, I wasn't really expecting a whole lot from a movie that, like it said at the beginning, based on a true story, sort of. It's based off of a Craigslist ad.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah. 2 jerk-offs actually did that.
That makes so much sense.
But then you really get the feeling, too, though, that, like, if they had any input onto this, then that just means that these 2 guys were basically just writing, like, a glorified, like version of how they wish their lives were.
Well, did those 2 guys write this movie?
I have no idea, but you figure they gotta have some input. Like, they used, like that's actually, like, I think their names. Like, the guys were actually named, like, Mike and Dave Stengel.
Yeah, like the little thing at the very end. Because I stuck around. I, for some reason, thought that there was like a hidden scene at the end of this movie. I don't know what the fuck I was smoking. But at the very end, it says, like, all likenesses to people alive or dead, except for Mike and Dave. So
they were saying that, like everybody else is a fictionalized thing, but this was spot fuck on.
This is exactly what Mike and Dave Stengel are like. And yeah, thinking about it, in addition to being sort of an homage to the 90s comedies, they also brought back the thematic rap song that played during the credits, performed by Zac Efron, featuring Adam Devine, about the Stengel brothers, and basically outlining the entire plot of the movie. Which, you know what, I miss. I think they should do that for all movies.
That was kind of a throwback, like that. I haven't heard something like that since Kazam.
You ever seen a turtle get down?
But yeah, it's just... Well, in a lot of the scenes, like, it seemed like they were just, like riffing off of themselves. Because there were a couple of times, like, you could visibly see, like, the take that they had to use has one of them laughing in it.
Yeah, they had the outtakes at the end. And there's one scene
that was
where,
the most enjoyable part.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Was
just
like
that. Zac Efron was like crying, and it made Adam Devine start crying, but he was crying like ha 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 ha.
So he cries on Workaholics. He does like the biggest, most ugly cry face.
I love an ugly cry on an adult. It just makes me laugh every time. Ah, ah.
But no, like the different takes of that, like I liked, but yeah, it's just like you could tell like it was just one of those movies where they're like, it's like do it right twice and then do like a couple fun ones. And then sometimes they use the fun take, but the fun take wasn't exactly the best take, I don't think, but just the one that they thought was the funniest. So like say like it kind of went with the whole like inconsistencies everywhere. Like, well, we have a better take where like no one's laughing, but we want the better line, so we're just gonna loop that on top, so we'll make it an over the shoulder. And yeah, like they'll be like talking like in a very exaggerated way, but then like the head is just like
pin straight,
just fixed, like I'm right here. So I don't know, it's just a lot of little nuisance things to it that I'm sure there's going to be somebody who sees this and doesn't think any of this. It always happens, but I don't see like this isn't going to be one of those comedies that in a year anybody remembers.
Yeah, it's not gonna be like a cult classic or anything. It's just a funny movie. And I like to see Aubrey Plaza in a movie that's not, Grumpy Cat related.
I like seeing Aubrey Plaza in a movie that shows her butt.
She is a thin woman. Like, super thin. Not like, I'm not trying to body shame her. She doesn't look unhealthy or anything. It's just that, like, you feel like the kind of person who leads the sedentary lifestyle and smokes as much pot as her character is implied to do would at least have some chub. Just, from a biological standpoint.
I think she's on that having to walk everywhere if she can't hustle a cab and not eating for a couple days at a time diet.
Yeah, maybe.
Keeps your chops all nice and defined down there.
Anna Kendrick was also very slim in this movie, but yeah, they were supposed to live in some, like, New York, I guess. They live downtown New York, so it would make sense that they have to walk everywhere.
I have nothing else to say about this movie.
I'm done. Watch it if you want. We don't give a shit.
Could not be fucking cared to bother.
Who cares? It was a funny movie.
Sort of.
Then it does show Kumail Nanjiani's butt, so if that's something that you're into.
It shows a lot of his butt.
It shows his butt, like, from the side, like, on a profile, rubbing against this lady's butt, like, he's, like, on a swing, just dipping his butt and, like, hitting her butt with his butt.
There's a lot of butt touching in that scene.
It was very... It's like someone said, what'd be funny is if he rubbed her butt with his butt, and then that was the all of that scene that they wrote, so that was the all of the direction that they gave.
Well, again, like, it seemed like it was one of those things where they're like, okay, like, we need, like, a couple things, and they just kept, like, going, and they're like, this is magical. We'll use all 50 takes.
Yeah.
Because that scene went on for fucking ever. I don't know.
I follow him on Twitter, so I was under the impression from the tweet that he made that we were going to see his penis, but we did not see his penis, but we did see a lot of his butt. Doctor Strange. You missed most of that preview, but I'm guessing you've seen it before.
Yeah.
It's Benedict Cumberbatch doing an American accent.
Which is odd.
It's very odd. He's not doing a very good job.
I think it's also weird that he's playing Doctor Strange, and the guy who plays... I mean, in the books, he's more of, like, his, like, manservant, but in the movie, I think he's going to have more of, like, a kind of assistant/trainer type
Good to be
position.
his lover in the night.
No.
Why not?
His
Getting a little Doctor Strange.
his
Doing the eyebrow waggle.
his faithful manservant Wong.
I'm sure he is.
But I think it's weird that both of them...
How can it be Wong when it feels so white?
Like, I just
If
think
it turns out that this manservant is actually his lover in the night, you're gonna be so red.
Yup, I'll agree to that. But, no, I think it's weird that both of them are, like, in real life, like, both of them, their first name is Benedict.
Uh-huh.
Weird.
Both of the actors, you mean?
Yeah.
Huh. It's like a match made in heaven.
Right? It's like when you have a movie with, like, it's like, oh, man, it's like, my name's Jake. Like, oh, mine's Jacob. Like, oh, that's so weird. Anyways, what else?
The only opinions I have on Doctor Strange is that accent, it does not sound particularly normal, and I hope they're lovers in the night. Bad Moms, which we've discussed before. It's just going to be another one of these goddamn movies. Not terrible, but nothing to write home about.
Yeah, I mean, it lost me the first time I saw the trailer for it. It was like, from the people who brought you The Hangover. It was like, Yay.
I anticipate it being another one of the... Do you remember that movie with Jason Segel and Cameron Diaz?
Bad Teacher?
No, the one where they made a sex video
Sex
and
tape?
they accidentally put it in the cloud. Yeah. I feel like it's going to be another sex tape where they're like, yeah, let's let loose. Oh no, everything's ruined. We have to go talk to the porn studios.
Yeah, I feel like it's gonna end with him realizing that, like, we should do better, but just not have a stick up our ass.
I hope that's not, because it's... I hope it ends with them defeating Christina Applegate and then their kids miraculously don't die.
I was worried they would.
I'm so sick of these mom movies. What now? Question mark. Oh, Kevin Hart.
Yeah,
Stadium.
his new stand-up
That looks funny.
thing. I mean, yeah, it's
I
Kevin
like him
Hart
doing those faces
stand-up.
that he does.
I mean, it's... I don't know. I'm hard to be that, like, thrilled about, like, a stand-up special that has to be screened in theaters.
I'm fine with it. I mean, like...
No, I'm at this point, I'm like, can't this just be straight to Netflix?
Yeah, we're spoiled, Ron. I think it's because he is a businessman first and foremost. But for me, the main takeaway was, why would you go see a comedy show in a football stadium? Because if you're as far back as some of those people were, you're not going to get that toilet joke that he told, where he had a picture of the toilet on the back. He's like, this is what it looks like when I'm in my bathroom.
Well, they had those giant, like, jumbotrons on each side of him. My bigger concern would be
like this big from up there.
Well, my bigger concern is that
big.
Okay, a football stadium is, you know, like in an elliptical kind of shape.
Mm-hmm. So the people in the back are just looking at pictures of Kevin Hart.
No, but my problem is a majority of the seating is on the sides facing this way.
Mm-hmm. They had like an uppy-downy middle jumbotron.
So you've got a few thousand people who are watching the entire thing turned sideways like this.
I don't follow. Because they're still facing towards the middle.
No, they're
they're
facing towards the middle of the stadium, but he was at the end. He wasn't in the middle of the
they
stadium.
had him in the middle of the stadium.
No, he was at the end, so that it looked like a giant like amphitheater. So it'd be like if we were parked like this, and there was like a drive-in, but it was on this side of the car, so we had to look like this out the window the whole time.
Uh-huh.
That just cannot be comfortable for the thousands of people sitting on that direction.
I don't care.
Because I doubt the stadium seatings were designed to swivel.
War Dogs, which Miles Teller and Jonah Hill are gun runners.
We got fat Jonah Hill back.
Yay!
He's even fatter now. He looks terrible.
I think he looks on purpose awful.
Well, yeah, I feel that's part of it. Like, got that sort of like
the under eye.
If Rush Limbaugh now was suddenly like 31,
Mm-hmm. Or like Chris Farley towards the end.
But I don't know, Miles Teller. I can't get a gauge on him now. I've only seen him in a couple things. I haven't been like thrilled by any of it. They keep saying like putting him in things like I should care. Plus, he's got a very small mouth.
You've got to think about mouths. Like, you got some weird mouth slide rule, and if you don't fit into like the 0 with a 2-degree differential, then
no, there's like
you just dismiss them as a person.
No, it's like there's like a scene in the trailer where he's like shouting or screaming or something like that, or wildly. I don't know. Something happened, and like he's making a "oh man" kind of face, but his mouth is so small. It was only open like this much. It was like,
how can he live?
What else?
Hang on. So Miles Teller was very funny in the Divergent movies.
I haven't seen him.
He was okay in that. He played like the douchebag Peter. And in the last one that just came out, he was the only enjoyable thing about that movie. Anyway, Keeping Up with the Joneses. Which John Hamm's mouth is pretty normal size. How do you feel about that?
I'm perfectly fine with the size and shape of John Hamm's mouth.
Okay, good.
Right, ladies. No, that one seemed.
So it's basically like Meet Mr. and Mrs. Smith, except they're also a Mr. and Mrs. Other Smith who are watching this whole weird sexual interplay spy drama going like, there's something weird about that couple. We should probably spy on them like the creepy old lady and that darn cat.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, it's like Mr. and Mrs. Smith's neighbors.
Yes. It's like Mr. and Mrs. Smith had sex with the Burbs and spat out this movie.
Honestly, yeah, it's that's the best way to put it is like, yeah, like it's got a very Burbs feel to it, and then they find out they're spies, and then they get caught up in it.
Who is the humorous husband in this preview?
Zach Galifianakis?
Zach Galifianakis.
Thin Zach Galifianakis?
Yeah, thin mustachioed Zach Galifianakis.
So he looks like his brother?
His brother Seth, no. Does Seth have a mustache? Seth was clean shaven.
I can't remember.
That's a weird character that he was doing. I think mostly he just wanted to do the accent for a while. Sausage Party. Like the terrifying Red Band trailer for Sausage Party, although I was assured outside that the horrific things that happen in this trailer are also in the regular trailer. They just took the screams out in the regular trailer.
Yeah, they took out the cursing, like instead of shouting, like it's like Jonah Hill shouting, it's like they're eating children. Fucking children. They just take that out, like it's like they're eating children, man. Children. Like good ADR.
So yeah, that's the scenes in Toy Story where they're at Sid's house and the horrible things that happen in the toys. That gave me nightmares for weeks after I watched Toy Story. I can't fathom what this movie will do to me if I end up having to go see it. I'm not.
You can't even have a fathom event about it?
No, I can't. I cannot fathom. So I'm not going to this movie. He's not gonna make me. He'll send you.
I want to see it.
Yeah, go for it.
I think it looks perfectly fine.
Good. That probably means that you won't be able to go and I'm gonna end up at it. So the last movie we saw was had Bryan Cranston in it, and I thought for a second that it was that other movie that he's about to be in.
Oh shit, I forget the something.
Yeah, the Eliminator or something.
Yeah, it was like The Informant. Wait, no, that was Matt Damon.
The Informant! Exclamation point. But it turned out to be a movie called Why Him, where he's got like a teenage daughter, and she's, God forbid, ended up with a man he does not find suitable, and so it turns out into like a battle of the men.
That
which
one
is not a movie that I enjoy.
Yeah, that's a plot line that's pretty fucking overdone.
It is super overdone, and it's fairly insulting.
But I like Cranston. I fucking love James Franco. He's so fucking weird.
He was telling me in the theater, he's like, oh, I see they're showcasing his Lana Del Rey tattoo, and I'm like, beg your pardon?
You know, because he likes her so much.
He likes her so much that he got a tattoo of her and then also did an art book. And they're not like dating or anything, he just likes her.
Oh yeah, you should see like his look at his Instagram. Like just randomly sometimes he'll just like just post a picture of her. No reason.
Are we sure they're not dating?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
So she's like his muse.
Apparently.
Whatever. Seth Rogen's bummed that he's not his muse anymore.
No, he still paints erotic photos of Seth Rogen constantly.
Yay! Lovers in the night. That's about all we got to say about this movie. Any final thoughts?
Not really. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're hard pressed to find something to watch at the theater, you've seen everything that you wanted to see, I guess watch this. This is squarely like a rental, if anything, kind of movie. Like I said, this will be one that no one's gonna remember in a year from now. Like say we would The Wedding Ringer. Every time I think of that movie, it takes me like that to remember what the name even was. Like, it's just not going to be one of those movies that anybody gives a shit.
Oh, it's Kevin Hart and Josh Gad.
Yeah.
The beginning of that movie actually wasn't that bad, and then it took a turn. This kind of reminded me of that, just in the fact that it was like 3 different movies mooshed together. Yeah, if you're stuck in like one of those stereotypical sitcom relationships where like you want to go see Rambo and she wants to see The Notebook, go watch this movie and both be vaguely unsatisfied.
Yeah. If you want to hear someone say about 1,000 times in the course of 90 minutes that they or someone else fucked up or fucked it up, then go see this one.
Got fucked in the dick.
Like, it's like they just went out of their way to like... It's like every scene has to have at least 10 F-bombs or we can't print it.
Because we're edgy.
But yeah, that's basically all I've got on it.
Okay.